I just moved into this tiny apartment for a new job. It was perfect, small, clean, exactly what I needed to get started. The landlord, a friendly older woman, gave me a quick tour, pointed out the basics, and handed over the keys. Everything seemed perfectly normal, until that first night. As I was unpacking, I noticed it. In the narrow hallway between the bedroom and the bathroom, there was a door. A plain white door that the landlord had definitely not mentioned. My first thought was, maybe it was a utility closet or something. I reached for the handle, turned it, and nothing. It was locked solid. No key on my keychain fit. It was strange, but I figured I'd just ask the landlord about it the next day. When I saw her in the morning, I said, "Hey, about that extra door in the hallway. Do you have the key? I was just curious what's in there." She just stared at me, her brow furrowed in genuine confusion. "What door?" she asked. "There's no extra door in that unit, just the bedroom, bathroom, and front door." I tried to explain, but she just shook her head, looking at me like I was crazy. I went back to my apartment, my heart pounding a little faster. I had to be mistaken, right? But no. There it was. The door. It was as real as the floor beneath my feet. That night, the weirdness escalated. I was trying to sleep when I heard it for the first time. A faint scratching sound, like fingernails dragging slowly across wood. It was coming from the other side of that door. Then came the whispers. So quiet at first, I thought it was just the wind or the pipes. But it grew clearer. A soft, hissing sound that seemed to curl around the edges of the door. And then, it whispered my name. My own name, spoken in a voice I'd never heard before. I spent the rest of the night with my back against the wall, staring at the door, too terrified to move. This went on for days. Every night, the scratching. Every night, the whispers calling my name. I was barely sleeping, jumping at every sound. I thought about moving out. But where would I go? I couldn't just break my lease and explain that I was being haunted by a phantom door. People would think I'd lost my mind. Maybe I had. Then, one morning, everything changed. I woke up after finally managing a few hours of restless sleep. My eyes were drawn to the hallway. A sliver of absolute darkness cut through the morning light. The door, it was ajar, just a crack. My blood ran cold, but I couldn't stop myself. I had to know what was inside. I crept towards it, my hand shaking as I pushed it open. The air that flowed out was stale and cold, smelling of dust and something else. Something old. I peered inside, and my brain struggled to make sense of what I was seeing. It wasn't a closet. It was a hallway, impossibly long and dark, stretching into shadows that my apartment's floor plan couldn't possibly contain. My eyes adjusted to the dim light, and I saw them. Photographs. Dozens of them, pinned all along the walls. My curiosity got the better of my fear, and I stepped closer to look. My breath caught in my throat. They were pictures of me, as a child, a teenager, a young adult. But as I looked closer, my confusion turned to sheer terror. The dates on the photos, the cars in the background, the style of the clothes. They were all from the 1970s, the 60s, the 50s, decades before I was even born. How was this possible? Who were these people in the photos who looked exactly like me? Compelled by a force I couldn't understand, I took a single step into the hallway, reaching out to touch one of the impossible photographs. In that instant, a deafening slam echoed behind me. The door was shut. The darkness was total. I was trapped. The landlord never saw me again. The police filed a missing person report, but eventually the case went cold. After a few months, a new tenant moved into the small, simple apartment. And on their first night, as they unpacked their boxes, they noticed a strange white door in the hallway that they were sure hadn't been there before.